Hey YouTube, this is Krista Ramirez, also known as the Disney Video Nerd, or the Disney VHS Nerd from Tumblr.com. And this is a overhaul VHS update date as of September 21st, 2015. First off, this is Dr. Sin, alias the Scarecrow, which was originally a 3-part miniseries on the Disneyland television series in the early 1960s. This was originally released only in the UK as a full-length feature during 1963, double billing alongside The Sword and the Stone. This VHS was released sometime in 1986. And it's kind of unusual for a Disney release. The movie itself was based on the Dr. Sin books, on the Christopher Sin book series. Look at the label. This is pretty interesting for a label. Let's see this. And there is no print date, just some rental stickers. The tape does have a trailer for Sleeping Beauty at the beginning of the tape, and at the end is a promo for Walt Disney World. I found this at a half-price books for $2. This is Dr. Sin, alias the Scarecrow. This was released in 1986. This is Cool Runnings, a 1993 comedy released on video November 11th, 1994. The film is actually a somewhat retelling of an actual historical event, which was about the first Jamaican bobsled team. The movie stars the late John Candy, and probably one of his few final roles in the film. This also included Dougie Duck. Sorry, I can't say. I'm a bit off today. Dougie Doug and Rawi Lewis and Leon. A Disney Video logo right there. It's most common in most live-action titles in the early 90s. And a business reply card. And a coupon for Sudafed cough drops. Here. And a mail-in rebate offer for live-action titles, including Baby Secret of the Lost Legend, Encino Man, Father of the Bride, Flight of the Navigator, Homeward Bound, Three Ninjas, Wild Fang, and The Mighty Ducks. Again. And the print date on the tape is October 19th, 1994. And this was Cool Runnings. This is the Mini Classics release of Mickey's Christmas Carol. This was released December... Hold on. I'll get the release date quickly. I apologize. Alright, here we have a Mini Classics release. This is Mickey's Christmas Carol, released December 9th, 1989. It was previously released in 1984 and in 1986, respectively. It was one of the holiday titles released alongside the small one. I don't know why I always love the back cover to this one. Look how great this one is. And check that out. It's like a 1986 label. Well, and the print date on this is February 8th, 1989. February 8th, 1989. Now, I have seen the opening to this tape, and what's interesting about the opening to this tape is there is the Mini Classics logo freezes for 10 seconds. and it's pretty interesting, this. I believe this same print was also rehashed for the Favorite Stories release of this, as I do have a copy that is pretty much a rehash. So this was Mickey's Christmas Carol. This was the original 1989 Mini Classics release. Forgot to show the top. Mini Classics titles are all 4 Winnie the Pooh releases. It says these were all individually released in 1990. Particularly, I believe the date was... These were all released in 1990, yeah. These are all in the order of their original theatrical release. Honey Tree, Blustery Day, Tigger 2, and A Day for Eeyore. I finally sat down and watched A Day for Eeyore. It was adorable. It was an adorable short. Alright, so let's look at the individual ones. This is the Honey Tree. And it's the spine, the back. And look at that. No Mini Classics label in sight. The print date on this tape was March 31st, 1993, so this was a very late pressing. I think sometime before or after the Favorite Stories collection started. Alright, this is Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, one of the 2 Academy Award-winning Winnie the Pooh shorts. And there's the back. The scribbling. And it was inevitable. Oh well. And like Honey Tree, this is also a later pressing. And the print date on this one, it was May 7th, 1993. So this might have a different opening. Sorry. This is Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, another Academy Award-winning short. Back, and like the other 2, a later release. And the print date on this one is September 12th, 1993. And it's proof of purchase right there. And finally, Winnie the Pooh and A Day for Eeyore. The back. That was inevitable. Still. Oh well. Can't argue with that. And just like the previous 3, again, a later pressing. And this pressing goes as far back as January 24th, 1993. Sorry. And these are all 4 Winnie the Pooh Mini Classics releases. Special thanks to a friend of mine under the username Mikey Thomas for providing me with these tapes. Forever grateful. Alrighty, this is another overhaul update with the studio film collection. This time I have 3 titles, as opposed to originally getting 5 at once. Tisk tisk. Oh well. Okay, the first one we're looking at is Old Yeller. This was one of the first 12 titles released in the studio film collection. And here's a little coincidence. The box itself is the studio film collection, but this is from another line. This is from the Walt Disney Family Film Collection line, and the print date on it is October 28th, 1994. So I'm assuming this was when... I'm assuming it was either released like this, or there was somebody who had replaced a tape in it. Oh well, eventually I'll find another copy that has the actual tape in it. But for right now, I'll settle with what I have. Next one, it was probably one I was already looking for the very beginning. Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. Here, a film edited together from episodes of the Disneyland television series. Yes, sides. The back. Yeah. And very early PG-rated Disney film. And the tape. The print date is December 4th, 1992. And its proof of purchase is right there. And finally, Kidnapped. Another film based on a novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. The back. No rating. This is the second release, so I'm assuming the first release was around the early 80s. This is the tape itself. And the print date is January 15th, 1992. All three were one of the first 12 titles released in the Studio Film Collection. Alrighty, these are the Limited Gold Edition Cartoon Classics and the Limited Gold Edition 2. These are a compilation of cartoons that were released in 84 and 85 respectively. And each of them have a special introduction, although this one utilizes the same introduction as majority, the original Limited Gold releases, and this one has its own custom-made opening. So this is the Donald Duck one. Actually, this was one of the ones I was looking for. What I never got was that a lot of these original cartoon classics had 6 cartoons, but in later cartoon classics releases there was only 3. I never got that. And the print date on this is very faded, but it's June 27th, 1984. And it had some goodies in it. The catalog for 1984. I'm pretty sure this was shown on a video from IMAX Nation 1980. I need to get that one. I really need to get that one. I have this one, but it does not have its case. And I have this one on CED video disc. CED standing for Capacitous Electronic Disc, the earliest form of Laserdisc, also known as the earliest form of DVD. The Activity Center. Look at this. The abundance. My goodness. It's all in great condition. Not bad, not bad. Right. I need to find a copy of that one. And this one. Sorry. I have the studio film collection release of that one. And of course, all the souvenir video cassettes from Walt Disney World and Disneyland and Epcot Center. Laserdisc and CED video disc. And much like his, yep, slanted at the top. Now this also came with, I think, most limited gold edition series. It was kind of like a little list of all the titles to collect. The original retail price, $29.95. It says it right here too, 1984 Walt Disney Productions. Walt Disney Home Video, distributed by Walt Disney Telecommunications and Non-Theatrical Company, Burbank, California. And a business reply card. Nobody read it. Goody. Sorry. And limited gold edition 2. This is An Officer and a Duck. These contain the World War II themed Donald Duck shorts, including a personal favorite of mine, the Old Army game. Yeah, it's cracked right here at the spine, but I think I can fix it. So I'm not too worried. And there's the tape. Yeesh. Can this thing get any more brighter? And the print date on this also is kind of faded. It is September 16th, 1985. And these were the limited gold edition 1 and 2, respectively. Of course, both of them are Donald Duck themed. I hope to actually find a few more of these, even if one of them ends up being a Silly Symphony one. I wouldn't mind so much. This is a 1986 release of Old Yeller. This was previously released in the early 80s. This was in the new packaging format. Ooh, a little backstory. I actually never saw this movie till recently, and the only reason I never saw it was because I pretty much was in the same position as the nostalgia critic. Nearly everybody ruined the movie for me, so I backed away from it until I finally decided to watch it. Cover's kind of hard to open. It's the tape itself. And the print date is June 26th, 1986. Next up is Pollyanna. I believe this, don't remember what year this one came out. So it's a later release. This is I believe the second release, or see what no, it says it's the third release. And in the price tag, $29.95. Notice how the font here is different from this font. I wonder what made him change it. Oh well. Of course, this is one of the first few Disney films to star Hayley Mills. And the mention of her Academy Award performance in 1960. Oh, her sequel. And here's the tape itself. Look at this brown tab. This was similar on a VHS I used to have at one point. And the print date on this is September 9th, 1985. from the Walt Disney Family Film Collection. This is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And much like the Studio Film Collection release of Old Yeller, there is a different pressing of this title in the box. Yep. James Mason, Kirk Douglas, Paul Lucas, and Peter Lorre. And there's the proof of purchase up here. Look at that. It's a family film collection title, but you have a Studio Film Collection pressing in here. And the print date on that one is January 14th, 1992. And last but not least in the overhaul, The Journey of Natty Gann. This is a much later release, I'm assuming about the early 2000s. Well, it's got to be the early 2000s. Home Entertainment logo. And the back. And the tape. And the print date on this is March 11th, or no, pardon. It's February 18th, 2004. So it was the early 2000s. I do plan on actually getting one of the original 1980s video releases of this title. For now, I'll settle with this one. Really much title. And a bonus tape as well. The Walt Disney Fantastic Adventure series release of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm assuming this was from 1996 or 1997. And similar to the Family Film Collection release. And both cover art, that is. And here's the tape, and I think this was one of the first instances of this. I don't recall exactly. And the print date on this is May 7th, 2002. But interestingly enough, this has the tape master from 1997. So that was the massive overhaul of Disney titles. I will be planning to get more in the near future. But for now I gotta find a way to sort these all together. This is Krista Ramirez, aka the Disney VHS Nerd, signing off.